I almost lost myself because I think everyone can relate to it in some kind of way, because I think all of us sometimes try to fit in. And when I first went to Tanzania with my husband, Pete O'Neill, in 1972, I tried to fit in to the point where I almost lost myself. It used to amaze me that even though pre-dreadlocked, dressed in Congo from head to toe, carrying my babies on my back, basket on my head, chewing sugarcane sticks and pepper sprinkled muhogo roast, just like everybody else. Before I could even open my mouth to speak, they could somehow tell that I was someone else, different, other than. I couldn't hide it, even though I tried, and I almost lost myself. In my freshly landed, just got off the boat enthusiasm of living in Africa, I tried to blend, to melt, homogenize, disappear, erase the essence of what made me who I was and am, an African who grew up in and was molded by the hoods of America, and I almost lost myself. I almost lost that distinctive stride that signals, she ain't from here. And I took a mahali and guinea now. I almost lost my fierce, laughing, in your face, sister tone of voice. And my hands on hips, finger waving, snake charming, you ain't about to tell me I can't. Neck moves. I tucked that me tightly under my Congo wraps and demure gaze and soft, gentle handshake, and I almost lost it in giving it up, but I woke up just in time and place and attitude. I had to learn to remember that the I, that is me, has a history as rich and as valid as anyone born with the dust of our African ancestors squished lovingly between their baby toes. I learned to remember that the middle passage memory still twisting in my DNA, causing frequent bouts of claustrophobic episodes, are as real as the recollections of those who had never been ripped from the reassuring womb of family and history and language and food and religion. I learned to remember that the French etymology of my name was just as valid and honorable and blessed as Habiba's or Amina's or Aisha's, because it was given to me in love by those who love me and marked me as surely as the eternally swollen scarification cuts of a Dinka lady. I learned to reject feelings of embarrassment at having been born an African in America, off land, offshore, thousands of miles off course from where I might have been, had those captors not had such a pressing need for dark rum and cotton gins. I've learned to remember and bring honor to the fact that, hey, I'm still the fly in the ointment, the lump in the clotted cream, the wrinkle in the dried cloth, that hard green pea under the stack of mattresses. And after having lived in Africa more than 50 years, I'm still different. set apart, Negro, but it no longer bothers me that folks still ask me, even after I've explained that I've lived in a village in the heart of my Wamero homeland for years and years and years, probably even before they were born. It no longer bothers me, I tell you, when they say in response to my explanation, yes, I do understand that, but, now watch out. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes, but where are you from?
How do I lavish you with this love that lingers on my fingers? I've languished to find a language with phrases that can relay how you leave me in amazement, pacing myself. It's hard. When my heart races, trying to hold back horses held back by one rain in an apple orchard, I've pored over these pages for ages, painstakingly aching to make them dance to your cadence, my patience. And when it's thin, I'm afraid I'm jumping the gun for this race, but what I can't wait to make mine is those sun-kissed kisses that feel like kismet. A fate woven tighter than Moses' basket, I'd float down 1,000 Niles just to see your smile. So what if I told you that I wanted us to rush it? Wanted us to have kisses that feel like swishes and misses. Want us to fail and fail laughably, but embrace that awkward handhold that feels like sea breeze when it's 90 degrees. Sweet relief from the capricious heat, my sweet. Why don't we just de-stress in these cocoa butter covered caresses and rest our fears by accepting our messes, because less is more. Unless I'm mistaken, loving you is what my best is for. It's more than notebooks stashed away in dresser drawers. It's more like asking for you when I address the Lord. I'm impressed, abhorred, you double-edged sword, both a weapon and protection for the defenseless. So trying to understand you has left me sore, but I'm dead set on protecting everything that's yours. I want to talk about some of the pros and cons of being black in America. They tried to tell me that I could be a pro baller or a convict, or that the only way to achieve progress is through conflict, so that the solution that I propose, if you consent, is to refuse to be a proponent of their constant agenda. Let's amend these tendencies and see maybe you and me can prevent the end impending. We only doom when we relent. Eventually we have to come to our senses sense. Some of my black brothers and sisters still don't see the reality of their regality. But my kings and queens, we are not bound to these fallacies. Truths can still be revealed if we turn off the news and choose to be one people, ignoring colors and hues. It's never too late. All it takes is when we begin to converge like tectonic plates and make these mountainsides from which freedom rings, like King told us. My onus is to remold us, because right now we're fractured into factions that are lacking in compassion. So what I'm asking for is action, because acting won't get us past it. You can't mask it or suppress these messes, because the masses will have unrest until we address the essence of the problem. Ignorance in whatever form it may come. They tried to make us forget where we came from, but we are made from golden ivory. It runs through our veins. We are rare jewels with the toughness that is made to sustain all the hatred that tries to tarnish us and stain what we claim, but reframe the way you think. And you'll remain in this game, your pigment. It's perfect. Don't curse it, but instead reverse the narrative that casts us as the antagonists, because your black is beautiful. Your darkness is divine. Your melanin can mesmerize, but you'll never win if you trust the lies. Your skin is a tapestry woven from African roots that refuses to lie down and submit. Remember that. Because when you do, you become an impenetrable force for change. See, I wear my melanin like a metal. It gleams when it hits the sunlight. It's the greatest gift I can give to my son, and I'm gonna raise my son right. I'm gonna show him how his dark is distinguished, how a ray of sunlight penetrated this planet and planted kisses on his pigment until he took hues smoother than symphonies. And he'll remember we are beautiful.
I found love through hair braiding. 8 hours, 3 strands, 2 hands. Endless motions of cross, loop, cross, loop, cross, loop, cross, loop, cross, loop, pulling hair follicles into a rope-like extension with a little scalp tension. Cross, loop, cross, loop. She says her first year natural and her hair already reaches her shoulders. Sis never touched her hair to fully appreciate the kinks and curls intertwined, defined between fingers, and the billions of strands that absorb sun food and expand towards heaven even further than the day before. I found love through hair braiding. 8 hours, 3 strands, 2 hands, cross, loop, cross, loop. Her sister cares for her hair. The beauty of a braid is in the stories, the emotions and traditions that are woven into each plait. Women on chairs, floors, beds, relating, debating, conversating, parting rows as she parted ways from the struggle of a man, realizing her worth from a paycheck, or giving validation of emotions not tender, healing. I found love through hair braiding. He appreciates his flow, paired with those plump lips, thick brows, and rich complexion. Let your soul glow. Each breath that feeds his lungs is an act of resistance. His hair is a reminder that kinky is beautiful. His hair is a reminder that kinky is beautiful. Black is beautiful, or how beautiful it is to be black. Combing, locking, twisting, retwisting, pink lotion, eco gel, Murray's beeswax. Oh, how beautiful it is to be black. Because when your life is going too fast and you need a hairstyle that's gonna last, 32 inches down your waist, and you might keep the style in a little bit too late. A way of protection, my favorite form of self-expression. I found love through hair braiding. I found community through hair braiding. I found healing through hair braiding. Cross, loop, cross, loop. Rise from the dirt of deprivation. You are no longer a prison of poverty. You are rich with power in your voice and your words. I hear liberation. Inspire the unwoken children who sleep under their heavy cuff chains, metal cages, traps the physical body, but the mind is free from imprisonment. You are the owner of your mind. If anyone trespasses, you show them the door. Not in my house. Red, black, green. It is painted across my heart, bloodshed in the streets and on the sidewalks resemble the stains on my cheeks. Why must my people die? I said, why must my people die in the homes where children lay? I cannot rest. I cannot close my eyes. The uprise, the revolution is here. My people, our people, are standing in armies and will not cease. Guided by our ancestors, a war of centuries. Have you seen my skin? My body is scripted, but I don't fit the description. When I see you, I see me. Oppressed and distressed, voices suppressed. They find my kind, our kind, disposable. Where death becomes the only form of freedom. But our spirits and souls are everlasting. There is divinity in our existence, beauty in our culture, love in our language. The revolution is here. I can feel liberation through the heels of my feet, to the palm of my hands. My people, our people, suffering no more, dying no more, oppressed no more. Red, black, green. My windows are open and the sun is shining, brightening these dark rooms. Freedom reigns here. This house is now my home, and it is sweet. Positive thoughts like flowers blossom in my mind, a garden of hope, peace, and serenity. Eden, if you cannot water my roots, then you cannot savor the sweet pollen that lay upon your fingertips. I rose from the dirt of deprivation. I stand as a daughter of revolutionaries living through me today. I am brown sugar, sweet, resilient, brilliant, infinite, a Negro, a goddess, a god, a vessel, an earth child with a divine gap smile. And I use this dirt of deprivation as a reminder that beautiful things can sprout from dark environments.
We all have a mother and father. Most of us meet at least one. and are truly seen. Many not. Time passes slowly. Mother dies, father dies. Their voices echo. You find yourself in a starlit yard, skinny cat on the fence, dandelion at your feet. You hear her voice, shudder under her unconditional love or conditional rejection. You're standing on a porch chair, hammering a hook into a crossbeam. His voice echoes back. You're doing it wrong. You squint. You remember an evening when he wasn't angry. You had climbed to the treetop at dusk and saw in the shadows below a hint of a smile when he thought you weren't looking. A glimmer of pride in his eye. And it strikes you once again, he is not dead. She is not dead. The magic of malice or mercy, calluses and grace live on. To all parents, to all who love, pay attention. It's not the grand, fine moment you think your darling will remember forever. It's the quiet gesture of patience, or the swift flash of anger that lives on. No mother ever dies. No father ever dies. Okay, so this poem, to my English teacher. Velvet voice, soft voluptuous vowels, moist lips, parted, breasts rising. In a sinful second stanza, she to the window, book in hand. Framed in Piedmont hills, sincerely sighing, reading, love, tragedy, death. My own English teacher, for God's sake. Strike own, I should say, my English teacher. Miss Brenda did not cotton to reckless adjectives, which deplete the noun, sap its power, break the flow. The sun snaked through cadapa leaves, slithered under the casement window, filtered into the floral fabric her drifty summer dress, drinking sun's warmth, bosom curves, stitches slightly stretched across her chest, a sensuous vowel lingered. She had me, dreaming, thinking, feeling, stirring, so I could not stop. Gently finishing the poem's last line, she scanned from the heavens to the faces of her pupils, imploring responses. I dared not show mine, she 26, I innocent 16, ashamed book in my lap. What title would you give this poem? She smiled my way, hopeful, embraced my saucer damp eyes. Don't call on me, make me stand, please. No. A pregnant pause. Two girls' hands raised. The title should be True Enough. Thank you, Martha. Miss Brenda turned 180, wrote on the board, time enough. She underlined. Time zipped across schoolyard, campus, marriage, children. I meant to call her. Urgent meeting, business, legal matter. Her face appeared in school-like moments. Physics for poets, dark matter, arrow of time. Maybe this poem never had a title. Maybe it never had a name. Another title, she really meant this smile. I blurted, adjective tortures now. Miss Brenda chalked, underlined, turned again, eyes ghastly hollow. Hair gone the night I saw her last. 60 years a teacher. I kiss her casket, write in haste tonight, gratefully strike the adjective, the weak adverb, the duplicate word. Never quite perfect yet, striving somehow to say, thank you, Miss Brenda.
I am bringing to you the voice of B. Richardson. She was the first Esther in Sanford and Son, and she was also the woman who played Sidney Poitier's mother in the movie of the first biracial couple in the movies, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? B. Richardson is giving voice to a forgotten woman, and we honor that woman this evening as we hear her voice through the writings of B. Richardson, who was a woman from Mississippi, but destined for the stage and the big screen in New York City. A black woman speaks of white womanhood, of white supremacy, of peace. It is right that I, a woman black, should speak of white womanhood. My fathers, my brothers, my husbands, my sons died for it, because of it, and their blood chilled in electric chairs, stopped by hangman's noose, cooked by lynch mob's fire, spilled by white supremacists' mad desire to kill for profit, gives me that right. I would that I could speak of white womanhood as it will and should be when it stands tall in full equality. But then white womanhood would be womanhood, void of color and of class, and all necessities for my speaking thus will be past, gladly past. But now, since 'tis deemed a thing apart supreme, I must, in searching honesty, report how it seems to me. White womanhood stands in bloodied scud and willing slavery, reaching out adulterous hands, killing mine and crushing me. What then is this superior thing that in order to be sustained must needs feed upon my flesh? How came this horror to be? Let's look at his story. They said, the white supremacists said that you were better than me, that your fair brow should never know the sweat of slavery. They lied. White womanhood, too, is enslaved. The difference is degree. They brought me here in chains. They brought you here willingly, slaves to man. You shiploads of women, each filled with the hope that she might win, with ruby lips and saucy curl and bright and flashing eye, him to wife who has the largest tinder, remember? And they sold you here, even as they sold me. My sisters, there is no room for mockery. If they counted my teeth, they appraised your thigh and sold you to the highest bidder, the same as I. And you did not fight for your right to choose whom you would wed, but whatever bought at price that was legal tender, you were sold to a stranger's bid, in a stranger's land. Remember? And you did not fight. Mind you, I speak not mockingly. But I fought for freedom. I'm fighting now for our unity. We are women, all. And what wrongs you murders me. And eventually marks your grave, so we share of futile death at the hand of tyranny. They trapped me with the chain and gun. They trapped you with lying tongue for less. You see that fault that made male villainy, that robbed you of name, voice, and authority, that murderous greed that wasted you and me. He, the white supremacist, fixed our minds with poisonous thoughts. White skin is supreme. And therewith brought that monstrous chain, exiling you to things. 'Tis true. My pearls were beads of sweat, wrung from weary body's pain. Instead of rings upon my hands, I wore swollen, bursted veins. My ornaments were the whiplash scar, my diamond perhaps a tear. Instead of paint and powder on my face, I wore a solid mask of fear to see my blood so spilled in you. Women seemed, spoke no protest, but coddled in your pink slavery and thought somehow my wasted blood confirmed your superiority. But your necklace was of gold. Because it was of gold, you did not notice that it throttled speech because your diamond rings bedecked your hands. You did not regret their dictated idleness, nor could you see the platinum bracelets which graced your wrist were chains, binding you fast to economic slavery. And though you claimed your husband's name, still you could not claim his fidelity. You bore him sons. I bore him sons. Not willingly, he purchased you. He raped me. I fought, but you fought neither for yourselves nor me, sat trapped in your superiority, and spoke no reproach, consoled your outrage with an added diamond brooch. Oh God, how great is a woman's fear, who for a stone, a cold, cold stone, would not defend honor, love, or dignity. You bore the damning mockery of your marriage and heaped your hate on me, a woman too, a slave, more so. And when your husband disowned his seed, that was my son, and sold him apart from me, you felt avenged. Understand, I was not your enemy in this. I was not the source of your distress. I was your friend. I fought, but you would not help me fight, thinking you helped only me. Your deceived eyes seeing only my slavery added to your decay. You were afraid to nurse your young, lest fallen breast offend your master's sight, and he should flee to firmer loveliness. And so, you passed them, your children, on to me. Flesh that was your flesh and blood that was your blood, drink the sustenance of life from me. And as they suckled, I knew I nursed my own child's enemy. For as it fed, it smiled and burped and gurgled with content. And as for color, knew no difference. Yes, in that first while, I kept your sons and daughters alive. But when they were strong in blood and bone that was of my milk, you taught them to hate me. You gave them the words mammy and nigger. And you put your decay in their hearts and upon their lips, so that strength that was of myself turned and spat upon me, despoiled my daughters and killed my sons. You know I speak truth. This is not true of all of you. When I bestirred myself to freedom and brave Harriet led the way, some of you found heart, played a part, and aided my escape. What will you do? Will you fight with me? White supremacy is your enemy too. So be careful when you talk with me. Remind me not of my slavery, I know it well, but rather tell me of your own. Remembering, you have never known me. You've been busy seeing me as white supremacists would have me be, and I will be myself. Free with aim and full equality, I will usurp their plan. Justice for me. Peace and plenty for every man, woman, and child who walks the earth. This is our fight. Let our whole heart fight so that we can have a world where there is equality, for there is love, there is the serpent, and there is